we're in a situation where a lot of services are facing challenges. Why? Because resources are delayed. Just last week we saw the president, he was in Mount Kenya region, and he was explaining why there has been delays in disbursement of resources, saying that there has to be prioritization for resources to go to the education sector. But also saying that he has had so much work to clear or pay debts or service the debts that the country has. When such kind of information is so clearly understood by members of parliament, to an extent they may appear, for lack of a better word, sympathetic with the situation, how then are you able to now defend the interests of public institutions, but also counties, especially for the Senate?
Well, thank you. I think it is important that communications become clear as it is. And I want to appreciate the government for the fact that for the first time, they're able to tell the public what the situation is in terms of our finances. Initially, I think the government was not very clear in terms of whether we got resources to run our institutions or not. This time, the president himself, and I think he is one of the best communicators that we've got in this government, to tell people what is supposed to be and what it is. And he said it very clearly. We are running low on resources. And even yesterday, when members of parliament were agitating about the CDF, and members of parliament even went to levels where they wanted to impeach the minister because they thought the minister was the one not giving them resources. The president said, it is not going to work. Even if you impeach this minister, another minister will come. It is not his resources, but it is the public resource, which we are supposed to collect from taxes. So for me, I think everybody is sympathetic to the situation that we are supposed to finance our own development initiatives. We're supposed to finance our schools. We're supposed to finance our roads. We're supposed to finance our healthcare. We're supposed to finance everything from the taxes we collect. And the president is saying we do not collect enough to the levels, to match the levels of the development needs that we got. So for me, what the members of parliament are supposed to do,
we don't collect enough to?
We don't connect enough to finance our budgets. We do not collect enough. And
what do you think we should do based on that statement?
Well, initially, what the governments have been doing is to run to loans, and they take very expensive loans where you pay 2 times or even more to be able to finance. But I think what the president said, and when we took over, he said, we as a country need to start financing our own resources. We finance our own development.
Are you sure about that?
And the reason, let me talk.
What page is that?
And the reason,
Back page.
And the reason
okay. Sorry,
why,
Honorable Lotee,
and let me finish this. We have not finished transacting that. The reason is we are not able to collect enough, and so we only be able to release what we've got, and we wait for more collections before we continue releasing the resources.
Let's talk about this, Honorable Lotee, because you're saying that we are facing challenges because we don't collect enough to finance our budgets. Parliament, and particularly National Assembly, is responsible for budget making.
Yes.
And if you know how much you are expecting to collect, you can actually cut down on how much you want to spend based on what you're able to collect,
sure.
Isn't it?
Sure.
So what do you do with that information? Because if you look at the projections this time round, it's 4-point-something trillion shillings of our budget, yet we will not collect 4 trillion shillings. That's for sure. In the next financial year, we won't collect 4 trillion shillings. So where does Parliament come in? Because you need to rationalize expenditure.
First of all, let's appreciate the fact that when you go out for public participation, what you get from the public is beyond 10 trillion. Everybody wants a road. Everybody wants an institution. Everybody wants a school. So the budget process, making process then is after collecting all this information, the budget committee sits down before it even comes to the House. And then it brings it down. When you're talking about 4.2 trillion, we have actually cut a lot of more trillions that will have come as aspiration from Kenyans. So we are dealing with a budget that we want to be optimistic that we will reach. But then also, if you look at the finance bill, and the reason why Kenyans are making noise is that the finance bill, which then came out as a levy, which just came out as proposals that went to the president, was, can we have Kenyans come close to? So we are bringing the aspirations of the people. That is the role of Parliament. And we are also trying to raise, because the same Parliament is discussing the finance bill, the same Parliament is discussing the budget. So we are trying to bring in together to bridge the gap. That can we raise more? Can we raise more?
Raise more from where?
Can we raise more from the people? Can we raise more from the people? And so we reach a point where people say, no, we cannot go beyond this level. And then we are here bringing collections to this level, and then we are trying to bring budget down. So the Parliament is actually trying to bring both things to congruence, to say, can we reduce the aspirations of Kenyans? And then can we ask Kenyans to raise a little bit more?
When is that time Parliament reduced the expenditure in a budget?
It's not expenditure in the budget, aspirations of the people. Because when you go out...
When did they?
During the budget making process, when you go out...
Supplementary budgets have always come and the expenditure has gone up.
The expenditures have actually gone up. But let's look at the aspirations of the people, because before you make a budget, you have to go out to the people.
You see,
and every place where you go...
You're telling me, yes.
Every place...
People want a lot of things.
Yes.
But you can only achieve so much with so much resources.
Yes.
So why are we missing that?
We are not missing. We are not missing. We are trying to bring the gap together. We cannot be able to cut off everything that people want, because the things that people want are also very important for this country's development. So what we do is we try to cut all the fats. We only remain with the lean budget that is required. And we feel the lean budget that we require probably will be over 5 trillion. But the Parliament will be more than 5 trillion.
What do you mean with lean?
The lean, the things that will make this country work. For us to put up a road.
What is the meaning of lean?
For us to put a road. For us to put up a road.
I'll get to you. Let me first.
Let me just finish. For us to put up a road, because everywhere you go, they tell you we need a tarmac road.
Yeah.
So you'll tell people you need 100 kilometers of road in this country.
But you see,
can we be able to cut it to 1 kilometer?
Even if they want a road, and there are no resources to finance it, so it will not even be done. Why are we promising what we can deliver? We
have not promised. Whatever we have put into the budget is the role of Parliament also to push the executive to try to come to that budget. So as much as we cut much actually as Parliament from what we get from the public. We cut much. We say we cannot do this. But if we come to 4 trillion, because our budgets have been increasing, if we come to 4 trillion, the government, through its own mechanism, can be able to push close to that. And so we've always have a gap. We've never, at one point in this country, had the country finance this budget fully. So we have the aspiration of 4 trillion.